Welcome back. Bleach Month rolls on, episode 29. Doing both Eyepatchwolf videos because we have a 30th coming for DBZ I'm Ran again, and then a special 31st that we had no plan to do, but now it's definitely gonna happen. The Eyepatchwolf videos. He was very disingenuous for a lot of it, and I still feel like he got a lot wrong in his second one. I don't quite remember what he said on the first one, and I've only watched half of the first one or bits of it, or the second one, and it's still some information that's just egregious. Let's get into it if you've got nothing.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
No, I respect him for, I believe he privated the video.
Unlisted.
It's unlisted, and that's good, unlike Giggix, who just like, yeah, it's still out there. Watch it, don't watch it. That Black Clover one, that's really bad. But I respect him being like, look, this was a bit of trash, and unlisted it. That's good stuff.
I respect it being unlisted and not privated it, because he's not trying to hide what he said, but he doesn't want the public to stumble upon it and go, oh, Bleach is trash, blah, 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 blah. Look at this video.
If you got the link, you got it.
And we got the link, so let's get into it.
Picture, if you will, Hiroshima, the late 1980s. A young boy draws in class as his favorite teacher announces that this will be his last day teaching before transferring to another school. As a parting gift, the boy gives the teacher a drawing, and the teacher is so impressed that he would later show the drawing to his new students, and quickly, word began to spread about the boy's immense talents, and before long, the boy became a local legend. A few short years later, his smash hit, internationally renowned manga has earned him legions of adoring fans, an anime series, a musical stage show, every kind of merchandise under the sun, and perhaps most importantly, entry into what became known as Shonen Jump's legendary Big Three, alongside...
I'd like to know if... Nothing really to say about this part to begin with, but I'd like to know if that was just one of those teachers big up in the kid, like, oh, this is really good, really good sort of thing, because his early Bleach stuff is a bit rough. I was rereading chapter 1, and Rukia does not look like Rukia.
Yeah, I was about to say, environmentally, he was always really good, but character-wise, some of the proportions... Orihime was not a good-looking character. I don't mean attractive. I mean, proportionately, face-wise, she did not look very good.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if that was one of those things where it's like, yeah, this is pretty good. It shows potential. Keep at it, and he'll be really good. So he just went, oh my goodness, this is amazing sort of thing.
Yeah, and then I wonder if later on he was like, hey, this was done by Tight Kubo and
the Bleach Man.
Yeah, he drew this for me when I left class, you know. Also, I would like to remark, what the is the Big Three? Like, what even is it? Is it the golden period of like the US, or is it like a golden period of manga that was spearheaded by these three?
It is, depending on who you talk to, because it can't be in America, because, you know, One Piece still ain't that popping over here.
It does well.
It does fine, but dude, if you ask somebody, it's not even top 10.
I wouldn't go as far as top 10, but most certainly
people,
not top 7.
You're hitting the hard was the Attack on Titans, the Bleaches, the Naruto's, Bing Bang Boom Boom Boom.
Oh, you're talking about all time. I thought you meant current.
Yeah, all time.
Okay,
if you walk up to somebody like, hey, you like anime? Yeah, I like anime. They're like, what do you like? Well, they're gonna hit your Full Metal Alchemist, your Attack on Titans. It's not gonna be One Piece.
I would see Yu before One Piece.
Way before. But yeah, what is classified as the Big Three all depends on who you ask.
Side industry giants Naruto and One Piece, that boy was Tite Kubo, and that manga...
Tite?
It is very... I don't know how to pronounce his name. I've heard it Tide Kubo, Taite.
It's just like manga and manga.
Yeah, no, it's manga.
But
chill out.
I've seen Sunny Straight literally tell me to my face, people have said manga and manga in Japan.
I don't care. It's dumb.
It's just like GIF.
Yeah.
It's just like, if you're saying GIF, you're just incorrect. Yeah. I don't care if the literal creator said it was GIF. He's wrong.
He's wrong.
Was Bleach. Bleach would enjoy nearly a decade.
So you can even see Ichigo right now looks very odd. But early drawings.
No, but you can also just see like, okay, yeah, this dude got it. He knows what he's doing. His hands are hard.
But, however, fast forward to present day and things have changed. Things have changed a lot. Massive fan backlash, a cancelled anime, hugely diminished tank.
It wasn't cancelled.
Yeah, it was put on hiatus basically, and just like, we'll get back to it. But it's easy to say that it was canceled.
Yeah. Anything not on TV in Japan is essentially canceled.
Yeah, you got a short shelf life.
That's why Dragon Ball Super is heralded as the end of Super, because essentially there is no more Super.
There's always rumbling, so people just
no.
feed them.
Super is definitely gonna come back. Dragon Ball is gonna come back, but I don't know if it's gonna be called Dragon Ball Super anymore, or Dragon Ball Super Z, or whatever.
Some others.
Yeah, because essentially Dragon Ball Super has ended. There are very few hiatuses in Japan.
Hugely diminished tankobon sales, a deleted Twitter account, and most recently, a brutally short final run in Shonen.
He didn't explain why exactly his Twitter was deleted.
Yeah.
He just, wait, go. Shonen Jump posts warning about fake photos being passed off as author online.
So maybe people were like, this is Kubo doing this, or I'm Kubo, or I don't know.
Oh, he brought this up, so let me look up exactly why he left. Because he just goes, here's all the things that happened.
Without the information, you've told me no information of why it was. Like, I can understand the sales went down. Okay, the creator leaves Twitter, but why?
I hate going to anime news now.
I'm not a fan. I used to be huge into them, but it's just like, I don't like their interface.
He offered no explanation, only writing the day before notice. Tomorrow night, about 24 hours from now, I will delete my Twitter account. Until then, please direct messages to me.
That could have just been, his health thing, and he's just like, I want to get better and not focus on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, people, it's good to leave Twitter. Twitter's, especially when you're popular.
Social media, period.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there's no real reason, at least I can see, given that. Yeah, you probably should have clarified that.
Mon creator Tyke Kubo returns to Twitter with cute Burn the Witch video. So he took a break and then he came back. It was more than likely, I'm not really working on anything, so
yeah,
I got nothing to say.
I don't want to hear these bums asking me where's Bleach, or who did Tatsuki end up with? I don't know. I don't care. Leave me alone.
Why don't you care? Shut up.
Why do you care?
And most recently, a brutally short final run in Shonen Jump magazine.
Brutally short? The 1,000-Year Blood War was pretty long.
Probably the longest arc. I'd have to look at the numbers, but
I would say Wake Mundo, but that's just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he just means the ending.
But he said brutally short final run. Like, it was definitely rushed, but it wasn't short.
Yeah. Odd wording.
Giving only 3 chapters to conclude a story nearly 15 years in the making. So how could this have happened? What could have possibly taken place to bring one of the 3 giants of Shonen Jump to its knees? Well, friends, that's what we're here to talk about. So let's dive deep and find out the Fall of Bleach. How it happened.
Bad. Look at it. Ugh.
Yeah, that's a bad title.
You could have found the Bleach type font and sort of matched it a little bit.
What? The Arrancar arc was from chapter 183 to chapter 423. 350 chapter 40. 340 chapterinos.
That's a chunky one.
Soul Society, which is the very beginning of Bleach to the end of Soul Society, is 182. That is chunk-tastic.
Wait a second. That can't be right.
Look it up, good sir.
Dressrosa was only 148 chapters.
Dude.
That's a lot.
Because you think of it like Bleach really has 4 sagas. And Fullbring was only like 50 chapters. So
holy crap. That was running for years.
Years.
Oh man, I can see why people dropped out.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, can we like wrap this up?
That's like, how many weeks are in a year? 48 or 52? 52? 52 at 350 chapters? That's like 6.5 years!
Oh my goodness.
People were like, yo, wrap this up after 2 years of Dressrosa.
And then you got a whole bunch of you got captains just fighting the Iran cars, and then here comes the Vizars coming up. You're like, I don't care about these dudes. Where's Chad? Well, somebody had to ask that, but certainly not me. I wonder what the popularity polls were looking like around that time, because it was just like they were just in that town for a good little time. The fake category town.
I wonder if I think Uki won 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah, he's that archetype that people like that I've never really understood.
Calm, cool, the guy.
Yeah,
with a purpose.
Get that out of here.
So first of all, let's define what we mean by the fall. Every week, issues of Shonen Jump come with a card so that readers can rank the series from favourite to least favourite. These results are then polled and ranked, and this is the main way Shonen Jump magazine gauges the popularity of its ongoing series. Titles live and die based on these results. So, in order to gain a clearer picture of what actually took place...
Card debunked about the card thing.
Yeah.
I wonder where he got this information from. I wonder how much research that he did on this, because if you ask me, I'm like, I don't know how Shonen Jump works. He would have to like
look it up.
Yeah.
I think there is some validity to that.
And there's definitely gotta have to be some sort of,
I believe like the bottom 4 are like in danger of dropping. But it's not like a hard, oh, you've been in the bottom 4 for 3 weeks, it's time to end your manga.
Wait a second. How did I always forget that name? What is it? Samurai 8. I always forget that name. It's because a very generic name. Mm-hmm. How did that get canceled after 50 chapters, but Mashima got 8 manga running?
Because that was in the bottom 4 for like 3 months.
No, I'm saying.
And it probably would have got canceled a lot sooner if it wasn't the name of Kishimoto.
No, I'm saying it's Mashima.
Yeah.
What weight does his name carry? Oh, but he's not in Shonen Jump.
Yeah. So and even as a Shonen Jump title, I very much doubt Fairy Tail was near the bottom. It was probably a very middling series. And Shonen Jump's fine with a middling series. They love their hits.
But Eden Zero is so bad.
Mm-hmm. What that mean?
We need to get onto this Fairy Tail.
That's the next month, right? Yep. Okay.
I've gone back through 10 years of ranking data, averaged out a yearly rank for each of the big 3, and then charted those results from 2005 to 2015. I did this mostly because I like numbers, but also because I'm a total fucking loser. Let's check the results. Here we have One Piece, now Naruto, and finally Bleach. Oh dear. It's not unusual for a series to lose steam over time. You can see it slowly happening with Naruto. But Bleach's fall is a catastrophic failure, the likes of which have never occurred in Shonen Jump before. And the question becomes...
I think that is true, but only because there are very few times where a manga is near the top for a large portion of their series, and then literally it's just like... Mm-hmm. Most of the time they start at like the 8-7 range, and they might go up to a 2, and then they're right back down to the 8-7 range, and then whatever.
What happens between 2005 and 2015 that could account for such a massive decline? I think to really understand what happened here, it's important to first understand why Bleach had...
That opening is so fire.
Yeah. It's misleading.
How so?
Because you go, oh, Bleach, you get all hyped, and then you get into Bleach, you're like, yeah, it's great. And then the next one What's the next one?
I love that one.
Really?
Yes!
Dude, it stinks!
No!
Yes!
The first 3 Bleach openings are flames.
No, absolutely not.
Yes! I'm looking it up now.
I remember once you said that, but I'm like, dude.
It's not as good as this, but that's not fair. That's like that's like going merry-go-round and then the next ending, and it could be good, but it's not merry-go-round.
It's Honey Nut Cheerios to Frosted Cheerios. You like
no, that's not fair at all.
You getting something here?
That's not fair at all.
It ain't Cheerios. You get a little something.
You still getting Cheerios, but it ain't the one.
But it ain't the one. This is this over here. And right there is when I always skip.
Are you serious? This opening is fire!
Not a single beat. If you ask me, does this song have drums? I can tell you.
You are crazy. Again, it's not fair. It would be like if Death Parade came out with a new season and they changed the opening and you're just this ain't it.
You can't.
This is not it.
It'd be like if there was a follow-up to Smile Bomb.
Yeah, exactly. They knew, we want it done here, boy.
Oh, man.
Change the visuals and we through. Change the drum patterns a little bit. Make it cleaner. And you are finished.
I also like Hunter x Hunters where they like, instead of, you got the full song and then it'll take like bits of it. It'll be like, the next season will be like the second verse.
Yeah.
That was really good. I really like that.
It's all just one continuous song, but it's split up. Yeah.
I really like that.
Yes, it did. Bleach burst onto the scene in 2001, bringing with it a kind of...
Go back and look at Rukia's face proportion. Look at it. Look at that whole side of her head. It's just like, that's a whole lot of space. Make her eye bigger, homie. That looks really bad. And that's not Ichigo's personality. That's not who he is.
Yeah, but
that looks like that should be Rukia, not Rukia Renji.
This is a foreshadowing of the hollow within him and how he acts.
Get that trash out of here.
You can see the theme.
That's just this dude wanting to draw something. It's like, if you look at, where is this? If you look at the first Bleach chapter, let me pick
Who you telling? I just read that shit.
Oh boy. It seems like he had ideas for characters to come, but he just was just like, I'll figure it out later. I'll just throw them in here. Look at it's the DBZ Ran.
Thanks for the site, sir.
Look at it. It's the dude from the Visor.
Oh yeah.
In chapter 1, I think he just had this design. It was just like, let me throw him in here.
I wonder if he had the idea of their past already.
No, he did not.
Why do you say that?
Because he's Kubo.
That means nothing. Kubo definitely had certain ideas that he had, and I wonder if not the full force of their past, but like a basic outline and character design.
I think he had a character design and just went, I want to throw this in here because look, you got who's that?
Orihime.
Doesn't matter. No, her.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
It's Orihime Chad. Chad looked like he's 43 years old. Friend, Ishida, friend, somebody. Visor dude, and then Tatsuki. This seems like he had this design and just threw it in there. Just cause like, I don't know. He'll come back later. But there's no cohesion to this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not like his group of friends right now, volume 1.
Yeah, it seems like he had that design and just went, get it in there.
Bringing with it a kind of modern energy and stylish aesthetic that quickly set it apart from its competition. While One Piece and Naruto were both set in their own fantasy universes, Bleach took place in our world, and in doing so, became much more relatable. On top of this,
you gotta also go into, they went into Soul Society and the Hueco Mundo and Fake Katakuri Town and wherever they went in the last arc. I think, were they still in Hueco Mundo or were they still in Soul Society?
They did a little bit in Hueco, a little bit in Soul Society, and a little bit in the upper of Soul Society. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about relatability.
I don't care about it being set in my world.
Yeah, it just looks like a street. A street is a street.
It's a town. I'm not any more invested in part 3 or 5 of JoJo's than I am in part 4, because part 4 is a town that doesn't actually exist.
for churning out some of the most stylish and beautiful.
Good design.
Bro.
I really like them.
Every splash page
It's
with them
great.
dressed up, swag, drip, fire,
It's really
flames,
good.
fire.
You can tell that's where his interests lie.
Bruh, he should have legit been a costume designer or something. Like some type of design artist for.
Yeah, because this is good.
They're so
This is really
flames.
good.
The attractive
Anybody
character
with a
design
hood
in
is
Shonen
amazing.
Jump at the time.
Oh, yeah,
Characters tended to look a lot older than they did in your average shonen manga, and this lent the series a kind of
Yeah,
mature.
but they were the same age. It doesn't lend to a mature sense of anything. They were the same age as everybody else.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that either. If you put him next to somebody like Zoro or Sanji, you'd be like, who's older? It's fairly comparable. They don't look too much older. They just don't. He doesn't really just have a very boyish face.
And this lent the series a kind of mature edge. You didn't feel like you were watching a bunch of kids goofing off, but instead a group of teens.
The very beginning of Bleach is a bunch of kids goofing off.
And there's a lot of goofing off in between all the hollow stuff in the beginning.
There's a lot of goofing off throughout Soul Society.
As well, yeah.
On the verge of adulthood. The major selling point of early Bleach, however, was the spectacular artwork. You only need to see Kubo draw to appreciate what a brilliantly talented natural draftsperson he is. And in those early days, it shows in every single panel. The story set
Not every single panel. A lot of panels are very much like you will see in later Bleach, where it's just like a blank background because they're in blank areas. Nobody cares about seeing the sky.
And there's sometimes that you use the blank background to like emphasize a character, like when there's a big shocked face, it'll be a big white background.
was simple. Likeable but grumpy, Ichigo Kurosaki is made a substitute Soul Reaper by actual Soul Reaper Rukia, and a fun Monster of the Week style battle manga ensues. Where Bleach really came into its own, however, is with the second major story arc, that of the Soul Society
I wouldn't
saga.
have minded if it just stayed the Monster of the Week.
I would have, because I read Yu Yu Hakusho, and for a while it was really him just being a spirit detective and Monster of the Week solve this case type stuff. I was like, I don't like
but
it as much.
The Bleach stuff was better than the Yu Yu stuff in that aspect.
Absolutely. But I also feel like if they didn't escalate so much, what are you looking at?
Is it? I see the lights. It's good.
Oh my god. If they didn't escalate so quickly, like if they did the Soul Society stuff and then they went back to Earth and it went back to that Monster of the Week type stuff in between, I wouldn't have minded it.
Yeah,
Like solving the case.
But even just like cut out the Soul Society. I don't need it. Just give me Monster of the Week. But I'm a big slice of life person where I'm like, nothing happens in this manga for 150 chapters and then one thing happens and then nothing happens again ever.
That's very much like a Change 1, 2, 3, where it's just like a large swaths of just nothing. And I don't mind it, but I also am a person that cares a lot about plot, and I would prefer a good plot over characters just doing things. And you're literally the opposite.
Yep.
Rukia is kidnapped and erased or bleached from Ichigo and his friends.
Oh, no, you
I don't
didn't.
believe that was.
Oh, no, you
The-
did it.
Was there ever a reason why Bleach was named Bleach?
I'm sure Kubo gave a reason, but never in the actual manga
Yeah,
itself.
obviously.
Yeah,
Probably because of maybe Ichigo's hair.
maybe.
Bleached from Ichigo and his friends' memories. But of course, they can't forget
Get rid of the interlacing,
I hate
please.
I hate him so much. He
Why?
sucks.
their friend. And so the group of supernaturally gifted teenagers must enter the Soul Society and do battle with an ancient and patriarchal order. What really works about this setup is that you have a group of young teenagers facing a society they don't understand with rules that don't seem to make sense. In other words, it's tangential to the feeling of being a teenager on the verge of entering adult society for the first time.
Isn't that basically every shonen ever?
Themes.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the theme of growing up and becoming an adult. See, whatever you need to do. It's just an unknown place, and you're a teenager, and it's like becoming an adult. Yeah, sure. Yes, you are correct. You don't need to make the Soul Society arc better by putting a theme to it.
No. If it has it for you, that's totally cool. But it is not needed because it is just a good arc.
Yes.
It's alien and it's weird and it's scary, and the idea of rebelling against that and reestablishing the set order of things.
No, okay, you're just on bullshit now. They did not go in with the goal of changing the way Soul Society worked. No. They just wanted to rescue their friend. Soul Society, as far as we know, did not change an iota. They may still be out there executing people that they feel are treacherous or whatever. We do not know.
Wouldn't this be a better comparison for something like Skypiea?
Yeah.
With the whole becoming an adult and strange place and everything.
Whatever.
While not realistic, is a fun fantasy to believe in, especially if you're a confused and scared.
While not realistic, it's a fun fantasy to believe in. Isn't that fantasy?
He's very wordy.
A fun fantasy to believe in, especially if you're a confused and scared teenager like I was when I first read.
I didn't give a It was a good series, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, but if you go into it going, oh, this is an allegory for adulthood, and then you can just go, okay, now I understand it better. And it
did you and just say allegory?
Did I?
You just and said allegory.
That is not even kind of a word.
This is an anonymous allegory. Sounds like the worst company ever.
Oh boy.
It sounds like when people are trying to mash together the genre of two things. So it's like animated gore, allegory. That's what the you did. What was your point?
I don't know.
Allegory.
Allegory. Cut that part in. Just cut me. Here we go. Allegory. Got it clean. Good. Edit that together. Oh, here we are giggling like schoolgirls.
Oh boy. We're gonna lose that subscription from DBZ Imran. My boy. God.
Yeah. But if you look at it going into it like that, you're better for it, and it becomes better for you, and you can relate it to yourself. That's what I was going. You can relate it to yourself.
I feel like this isn't a very good argument. Wolf is a very feelings person.
Yes, and it's very personal how I feel, how it relates to me.
And how it can make you feel, and why it's better because of the feeling it elicits in you.
Yes.
I don't think this is a good reason to say why something is good. It's a good reason to say why you enjoy it. But as far as being good, just going, it meant a lot to me, does not tell me that it's good.
The introduction of the Soul Society also allowed Kubo to introduce a
50-inch, 128.
128? That's nothing.
Massive new cast of characters in the form of the Soul Reapers. And it's here we get to see Kubo really flex his character
design. A lot of them are bums.
Yeah, there are a lot of bummery
You got your captains who are really good, but then you just got...
And sometimes the assistants are pretty good.
But then other times it's just like, well, here's a bald guy, and here's that guy with the one stripe on his hair. There's a lot of bums.
Each new captain and vice captain had a unique design.
You mean Sword, right? Because she's just the Sword. Isn't that what you mean?
She goes away, and her name is never spoken again. It is meaningless.
Memorable gimmick and interesting relationship. And they were also a hugely diverse cast. Women, men, foxes, whatever this thing is,
It's a guy. It's a guy in some
just
makeup.
with some paint.
Everyone was equal in the Soul Society. And
no, the fox hit his face because he was afraid that everybody would see him as a fox and hate him for it. Why would he think that if it was so equal?
Yeah. You would think that... And he was friends with the blind guy because he couldn't
see his face.
Yeah. You would think that... Why would there be prejudice? Who cares?
Who cares?
What was he before?
What do you mean?
He has to be a reincarnated human.
Oh yeah, so why did he reincarnate?
Oh, wait. There was the scene in the end where he became a human after he talked to his big fox daddy, and then he died. And then his name was never spoken again.
Maybe it's like a punishment.
Oh yeah, I do remember something like that. Whatever. Who cares? You got a fox face. You slash them and you kill them if they make fun of you.
Thing is, everyone was equal in the Soul Society and anyone could fight. This led to an air of unpredictability to the series and led to some truly stunning encounters. I've talked before about how great I think Ichigo versus Zaraki Kenpachi is.
Of course, it's great. It's a really good fight.
Mm-hmm. It's made worse when you're just like, well, he's just nerfing himself to such a degree that it doesn't even matter.
Mm-hmm.
And he just each time he's just like, well, he's just still each subsequent time that you see him is like, well, he's still just very, very nerfed, and he's just matching his opponent's strength just to have a good fight, which is a good character thing. But it's also one of the things like, well, what about the Secret Zero division? They're all super strong and they're just hitting forever. This dude, he could have, if he had unleashed his abilities, he probably could have given Aizen a run for his money. But he's just so
not there.
He's just so like into his own mind where like I gotta have a good fight. He just limits himself, and that's not.
I think it is good.
It's a good character thing, but it's as a story thing, it's not.
Yeah. Because the stakes aren't real.
Yeah.
And by aren't real, I mean they're a fabrication. Because in essence, Kenpachi is stronger than his opponent, regardless of the situation. But he limits himself to make it feel like there's stakes when there actually aren't.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop there. Chad versus Captain Kyoraku is a terrific example of how to write a squash fight.
No, it's not. He got squashed.
Yeah.
What's the difference between any other squash fight?
You're so beneath me. I'm not even gonna kill you or anything. I'm also not too bad of a guy, so you can do whatever you want, and I'm just gonna blow you away. It's a squash fight. What's a bad squash fight?
Even off-screen squash fights are cool because in Kaido, and then you just see all the supernovas on the ground. It's just like fast and amazing.
Koryu versus Mairi is a fantastic, intense underdog battle, and I'll always...
Underdog battle? Seriously, dude? Ishida is super strong, and that dude's just a piece of there's no way to say that Ishida is an underdog because we don't know how strong that captain is.
Yeah. We just know that captains are strong.
So if you were to lay odds out, how would you even classify those odds?
have a place in my heart for Yorichi versus Siphon for reasons. Fast forward to the...
It's because it's a good student versus master or teacher fight, and Soifon is trying to show that she surpassed Yoroichi and is a true successor of the division and their fighting style, but she is not.
I love Soifon. She's so great.
What did she do?
She got a big old Bankai and she's like, oh man, I hate this. This sucks. And it is never spoken of again.
The best and most unexpected heel turns in shonen history with the betrayal of Aizen, and we're left with an arc.
How did you feel about that when it happened? Because I got it afterwards and I knew that this was coming and everything.
Well, I did not see it coming. I very much enjoyed it.
Okay, cool.
I feel like a lot of people did. I think this is why Bleach was so popular, because you get something like this where it's just like this overtly good guy and the blind dude that just seems kind of cool. And then you got the pieces you don't like in Gin, and you're just like, oh, they're all together? This is cool. They were always, this is cool. Gin is exactly what you expected. Aizen is completely unexpected. And the blind dude, you had nothing to expect. So it's something interesting. Everybody got something out of that.
Concludes satisfyingly while also perfectly leaving the door open for the next major encounter.
Okay, here's what they should have done. They should not have done Aizen next. They should have done something else.
Yeah, something that's feasibly just like Ichigo can reach his level. You can see him progressing, as opposed to this where he's just like finger slashing him and he's mulch. I completely understand that. You go from Grimjow, who's number 6, to Aizen.
Yeah. You should have probably stuck about 2 or 3 arcs in between this and the Wako Mundo. It should have been Ichigo going full force and learning some new and realistically building up those abilities, and then this. There should have been nothing after Aizen.
Or he should have just not been...
What was that alarm for?
It doesn't matter. It does not matter now.
Okay.
Or Aizen should just not have been in charge of the Hueco Mundo crew. Because that really could have been the second one, and then he's in charge of another group over here.
Yeah.
You can make whatever realm you want, so why did he
limit it so very much?
So, with such a strong start, where did
That opening is fire! Third opening. You didn't like the screaming at the end?
I don't believe I ever heard it. I may have heard it like once or twice, but I'm just like, all right, we're moving on. And I remember we sat down and we listened to all the Bleach openings, and yeah, I'm not getting anything.
Bleach openings, Greater Sign, Fairy Tail openings.
No,
we're gonna have to do this someday.
We absolutely are. I will fight you on this.
We're gonna have to do something.
Fairy Tail got at least 4 bangers.
Okay. Yeah, because they got 37 openings.
They got 19.
Average-wise.
Each and every one of the ones from Fairy Tail the last season is fire. It's amazing. One of them has, like, the best visuals I've ever seen in an opening. It's so great. It's like an AMV maker did it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to show you it later. I'm not going to remember.
Yeah, this is not popping up, so screw it. But third opening fire. If I could just get it to play. Come on, baby. I had to go off the Wi-Fi and put it on my phone.
And it's still not working.
You bum.
to go wrong? Well, in short, with the Japanese manga industry. In Yu Yu Hakusho Volume 5, author Yoshiro Tagashi wrote this formula to explain how much free time the average manga author has a week, where X is equal to days until deadlines, which is usually about 5 days considering that most authors...
Okay, I remember the dun, 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 dun. Okay, I vaguely remember this. Again, I'm getting nothing.
You crazy fam! You crazy.
There's right during the weekends. A is hours of sleep per day, 4 to 5 hours max, and P is pages of manga, usually between 19 to 21. And H is time spent per manga page, an average of about 4 hours per page. Take all that and minus the time spent eating, bathing, biological functions and other necessities, and Togashi calculates that in an average week he's left with about 3 to 4 hours of free time, which quite frankly is an insane way to live. The weekly manga industry...
I wonder, did he poll people or ask friends or something like that? Because there's also the fact that certain pages are a lot more difficult to draw, more people, more expressions, more elaborate clothing. Something like the captains.
The assistants you have. Yeah. Like the My Hero dude said, he cannot draw Toga's hair as fast as one of his assistants can.
But yeah, something like the Gotai 13, where they're just like black and white, boom, boom. That's going to be a lot harder to draw than something like... let's say Luffy with his sunflower shirt, where you have to draw all those sunflowers. Yeah, that's something a lot more difficult. So yeah, I'm wondering if that's just for him or but also it's kind of Togashi who's in his own little world.
He's also a massive flake.
Yeah, I wonder how it is for somebody like Mashima. Because I've seen like live panels where he's just like swoop swoop and there's a whole page.
Yeah, I've seen people like Stan Lee draw a character from scratch in like 20 minutes. So who knows?
Yeah. Not saying it's wrong, I'm just wondering.
Yeah. He could be even lessening what it actually is. Yeah. But we have no idea. This is just one person's experience with it. Mm-hmm. And he just wrote this for himself. I don't know.
Yeah, some people probably can draw a little bit faster. Who knows?
That eats artists and shits out manga. And it's an environment that only the most freakish of genius can survive. On top of the crushing work schedule, authors must also be able to coexist with their editorial team. And when doing some research into this, I was surprised to see just how much sway editors actually hold. Take for example Kazuhiko Torishima's involvement in what would become the Cell Saga in Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball Z. The original villains of this arc were just meant to be androids 19 and 20, until Toriyama received a phone call from his former editor, who was Torishima, stating,
So his former editor, not even his editor at the time, so it could just be his friend.
Yeah, just asking for advice. I wonder how this would have went down
with just Android 18.
What that world looking like?
It would have been a lot more interesting because I feel like the power creep would not have been as strong.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's a good circling back to the Red Ribbon Army as opposed to them just being dropped back in like a fart. And then it's like, well, it's Cell though.
Why didn't future Gohan and Trunks go into the hyperbolic time chamber to train?
Kami might be dead.
But they went up there. Kami might be dead, but that doesn't mean the room is.
Well, who can open it? I think Popo needs to open it. Kami or Popo.
But they went up there and they saw Karin.
Yeah.
The cat.
Yeah, Karin. Yeah, but he's in the middle area. Yeah. He's not at the top.
No, this is just you going maybe. Maybe
yeah, I have no actual one. I'm only giving you possibility.
Yeah.
And I believe I've seen those people needing to open the hyperbolic time chamber. But I'm not 100 on it. For all we know, it's even destroyed.
Well, that was kind of Kami because when Piccolo led Super Buu there, he was by himself. But then that's also kind of Kami. So is it the power of Kami, the person,
again,
the person who holds Kami?
It could also be that it's just destroyed.
We don't know that.
Yeah.
But whatever. That's woo. We all the way down the street. But what I wanted to say was, yeah, editors do have a lot of sway. Oda originally was not just gonna add Senior Pink's backstory. But he told it to his editor, and the editor was like, "Put that in." Word, and put it in.
Big villains, some fatso and an old geezer, and so Toriyama created 17 and...
Yeah, Toriyama didn't need to do that. He just went, okay, he said that, maybe my audience will think the same. Let's not do that. But then, his very next villain is some fatso.
Only then to have Torishima call again and express his dissatisfaction, calling the psychotic androids a couple of brats. At which point Toriyama came up with Cell, and after one more displeased phone call, introduced Final Form Cell. Toriyama's gone on record saying how at this point in the story he was just working chapter to chapter with no
plans!
By the seat of his pants.
Terrible!
What a genius.
And so Torishima's involvement cannot be understated here. And I think it was for the better, as the Cell Saga remains my favourite arc in all of Dragon Ball Z.
How is that even... Well, favorite, okay, not best. I would like to know why you enjoy it so much, though. Because I'd really like it.
There's a lot of twists and turns.
Is there, though?
Yeah. This Cell comes from the future. It's pretty good.
It's convoluted as all get out.
That's pretty good. There's like 8 timelines. That's hype. You got them. You got Gohan. He's there. Dude, I don't know.
But unfortunately, not every author-editor relationship is so mutually beneficial, and Kubo in particular has spoken out against the Shonen Jump editorial staff. In an interview with Jump Ryu, when asked, "What is manga for you?" Kubo replied, "Well, actually, I have no certain definition of it. If you ask me, I would say no need to obey every single thing that the editorial department of Shonen Jump tells. Otherwise, every manga writer's personality and talents won't sparkle."
Yeah, this is very much like a management type thing where everything has to be the same thing. Yeah. Oh, that worked before? Why don't you do it like that?
This is proven to make us money. It's like the WWE was like, give us another Hulk Hogan, another Cena, blah blah blah. Yeah. That doesn't sound like he's disgruntled at all. It's just a managerial staff where it's like working any job where they go do it like this exactly. And you go, well, I can do it a little faster, a little bit better, or I'm not left-handed, so I can't do it as well this way, or something. You got to put your own little spin on it. Doesn't sound like he's disgruntled or anything.
Then, when asked, "Do you have a special place in your heart for Shonen Jump?" he simply replied, "To be honest, not that much."
No, Japanese people do not Japanese artists do not hold their art in such regard, because it was the same thing with like the woman that does Goku, where it's like, what does this role mean to you? It's just a job. Whereas Sean Chamel is like, it changed my life, it got me all of this, and I love Goku so much. It's just like,
yeah,
it's
but
a
Nozawa
job.
is also very old.
Oh yeah,
so
she's
she's
80.
just like, she just walks into the booth and goes ta 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 ta, and she pieces out.
Ah!
Yeah, I can see, especially when it's just like, if it's not something that you're super interested in, because I'm sure she's just like, I just want to knit or do old people things, and these people are just ringing you out. I'm sure Toriyama feels the exact same way. He's just like, it is what it is at this point.
At this point, Kubo had been working for Jump over a decade. And there's not just reluctance on Kubo's side. Over the years, you can see Bleach slowly disappearing from the covers of Shonen Jump. In its early days, Bleach used to get multiple covers a year, but as time goes on, we can see Ichigo getting pushed further and further into the background. And there's also been other interviews suggesting...
But why? Is it because the popularity was waning? Or... And at the very top it says Naruto and Bleach.
Yeah, and these are probably, again, very cherry-picked ones where I'm sure you can find another one where he's just right alongside Naruto. Who's that?
Yeah, I was about to say, who's that character in the lower right? Oh, is that Senna? It looks kind of like Senna.
I was trying to see if his hat would show anything. I don't recognize this.
Yeah, but no, everybody had like pirate stuff going on.
I was thinking that maybe it had like a symbol that represents him or something. Like if it was just a 21, that'd be really helpful.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's Senna.
That editor-artist relationship troubles started as early as chapter 1. And quickly, we're painted the picture of an artist who doesn't trust his editors, and an editors who slowly lost faith in their artists.
That doesn't sound like he didn't trust his editors. It just sounded like he's a bit more free-spirited, and they're just like, hey, you gotta do it this way. And like, I don't want to do it this way. I remember seeing like an interview where he was like right in the beginning of Bleach. And his editor was just like, hey, what happened? What about all this cool stuff that you told me about with the Soul Society? Maybe we could get to that. And that's where where Renji and Byakuya came in and just like, okay, now we're jump starting this.
So he probably wanted to do more of that Monster of the Week stuff for a little longer. It's just like, I can't remember what manga it was. It might have even been Naruto, where it was like, we need to start getting to this tournament arc. Yeah, I think.
I remember hearing something like that.
Yeah, I believe it was Naruto, where it's like, where's the tournament arc? Let's go.
This brutal work schedule and tense relationship with Jump would have been...
Again, there's no real evidence that there was a tense relationship, at least from what you presented. Mm-hmm. It's just more so your interpretation of how that relationship developed.
Or even a brutal work schedule.
Exhausting and frustrating to deal with long term, and it's my belief that this caused long-term fatigue and frustration in Kubo, which eventually led to the declining quality of his manga. You can see this happen in several major...
No, it's more so that his ideas just weren't very good.
Yeah, he was very lacking.
I think he had a lot planned from beginning to end of Aizen, and then almost nothing afterwards.
Kind of like Toriyama. But he was just not as good as working fly by the seat of his pants. It seems like, because there was just a lot of faffing about with Fate Category Town, and then you had the full bring arc where it's a lot of ideas, but it's not doing much.
The most notable one is the decline of his once stellar artwork. Like, let's look at some panels from early Bleach. See how they brim with life and personality?
There's a womb behind him. There's a
background.
Flap. There's a stripe background. And there's characters making faces. And a tentacle getting cut off or something.
No two facial expressions are ever quite the same, and the compositions lead your eye around the page in a way that makes reading them an absolute pleasure. Backgrounds are given just enough detail to convey a sense of atmosphere without...
What is that background at the lower right doing? And what is the background at the lower left doing?
Atmosphere.
And even the one at the top is just like the walls are fading into a white nothingness of a background, whereas you can see the clouds and stuff up top. But yeah, it's just becoming a white background with no detail.
Ever overpowering the characters. Some of the page layouts in particular are...
There's just a lot of stripes.
Yeah.
And I think his character proportions were way more exaggerated back then, so it allowed a lot more. I think that's why Oda likes doing One Piece like that, because the exaggerated proportions allows a lot of like weird
Movements and poses and
framing and stuff.
quite simply astounding. Like, check out this one where Ichigo slashes the hollow acid wire.
Again, it's just a lot of nothing in the background.
you see the sword slice where it follows. It begins there and ends there. I can see what he's talking about.
I know what he's talking about, but
where he leads later, it's the problem.
Yeah. Even the panel in between the one sandwiched in between the two, with just Ichigo's eye, is just a completely white background.
But he can still argue that it brims with life and
More life and personality than
personality.
Before. I wonder if he's gonna use, because I haven't seen this video in probably 3 years. I wonder if he's gonna use like closer to the end of Bleach where Kubo was sick or in poor health, which wouldn't be fair.
How much energy and force can you feel behind this slice? Like, you glance at this page and within a millisecond your brain registers exactly what's happening. No matter how many times I look at it, it always feels like it happened a split second before I read it. That's how good this page is. It slightly warps my perception of time. Now,
What? I really do not like Wolf's flowery words of adulation over something. It's just like it is what it is. It's a good panel.
these with artwork from much later on in Bleach. The first thing that hits me here is just how hard it is to parse the information of what's actually happening.
That looked like a very bad scan.
Yeah, you can barely see
The
Yuha Box face on that left one right there.
Yeah, this looks like a very bad scan.
But even still, I know exactly what's going on. Yuha Box swings the sword. It gets parried. Well, not parried. His sword swings back. Yuha Box looks like he takes a step back, or either he's just standing there as he flies away, and that's it.
The clean and beautiful compositions of early years have...
It's way too busy. I'll say that. But it's not the same.
Yeah, and I also wouldn't say that this is any better or worse than anything else. It's just a page. But I'm not a person where I think I've said maybe 3 times in all of reading manga, like, yeah, this is kind of messy, or I can't really understand what's going on here. Near the end of Naruto, it was just like, what? just like crumbling stuff going on. But yeah, I just like, yep, this is just a chapter. In the earlier Bleach, where you showed his little sisters, you're like, look how their eye travels down. I'm like, yep, that's just a page. This isn't very special.
Most characters have a blandness to their facial expression.
One that was just like, it's a nothing shot where I'm just like, this is fantastic. Was Pedosparrow's candy escalator, where it's just a big 2-page spread of this big escalator of candy. I was like, that looks really good.
Is that when Oda did like 9 splash pages on that chapter?
He just went nuts so cuckoo. Like, what are you doing? Calm down.
Disappeared. Most characters have a blandness to their face.
Okay, this is also not fair because that's a very facially bland character. Yeah. The problem was that Bleach moved away from a lot of the expression-y characters like a Renji or his little sisters or his dad or whatever in favor of these expressionless,
calm, cool.
Yeah.
And that's why I like the superstar dude. He was a big goofy dude and he had a mask and everything. But look at this shot. This is amazing. It's so good.
That makes it feel they were copied from a model.
And also there's one shot with his face and one shot with his eye. This is not a fair comparison. This is mad cherry pick. Show something of Ichigo being surprised or Ruki or anything, but we got a dude laying there and we got one shot of his face full on and an eye.
An assistant rather than any.
And isn't that Ishida's dad?
Yep.
And his dad has no expression.
This is really not fair.
This isn't fair.
I think Kubo would actually draw himself. Backgrounds have nearly completely disappeared, and what we're left
It looks very much the same. You get some stuff over there on the right. And isn't this Hueco Mundo? Which is a desolate wasteland?
And also, it's another one of those things where you emphasize the lack of a head by showing nothing. I dig the top one, but again, it's just a panel.
a genius barely trying at all, and it's such a shame because Kubo's aesthetic was arguably.
Look at that. That is not fair.
Yeah, that's
two character introductions and him interacting. No, that's not an introduction. It's him interacting with his family, his very expressive family, as opposed to something going on here
his
with
greatest
no context.
Strength and the major factor in what helped propel his manga to greatness in the first place. The apathy, unfortunately, would not stop with the artwork, and it could be felt much earlier on.
Those two things. Three shots maybe that he showed. Big not fair.
Yeah, that wasn't a fair comparison at all.
His second major problem, the long-term overarching story. And while the artwork would only really start to decline in 2013...
That's when his arm started fitting up. So that's triple not fair.
And I will also like for him to just like, look, this is a shot from 2012, and here's a shot of Ichigo 2012 looking shocked, and here's a similar shot of him looking shocked 2013. Look how it degraded. You can show like side by side, like, look, this one has a lot of shading, this one has lines behind it, a very shocked expression. This one, he almost looks kind of bored. There's something that could be done there instead of just going by 2012 it declined.
Kubo's frustration with having to develop a long-form narrative can be felt much earlier on.
Frustration? He doesn't have to do that then. Stop.
Yeah. Make shorter ones. You didn't have to do, 300 some odd chapters featuring the Vizards.
Who do nothing for the rough part of the whole series. Don't include so many Espadas.
Yeah. 6. Doesn't need to be 13. Doesn't need to be all the bums that I think it was DBZ Ram was just like, yeah, a lot of people talk about how Hueco Mundo has some bad character designs, but who are these
Sander
people?
Witch.
But who are these people? And you show like people from the Vizar. So you don't just take out a bunch of them. I remember there was like a pre-raid in the town with a bunch of bums, and you're like, when
Grimjaw got there.
Yeah, like who are these people? Doesn't need to be there. Don't do this, and you wouldn't be burned out. Streamline it a little bit.